Hey guys, do you all know that abusing black children is just as American as apple pie? Let's get into it. During slavery, one of the ways that children were abused, female children, once they reached puberty, they were often raped and or forced to breed with other slaves to create a larger slave workforce. Can you imagine that? You're a 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl, and you got to lay with another man, a man, and to have a baby, and you're just 12, you're innocent. Her whole sexual autonomy was completely stripped away from her. Another way that slave children, they were used as alligator bait to lure alligators in certain regions. You really don't give a damn or value a life if you could throw a baby. You could have thrown a dog, a cat, a rat, a mouse, but a baby. All because their skin is dark and you don't value them as human, but as chattel, as property, to feed them to an alligator. Enslaved children were sometimes subjected to medical experimentation by white physicians who treated them as disposable subjects. Their sufferings and deaths were often ignored or justified by the belief that enslaved people were not fully human. Do you all understand when I tell you all that that type of thinking does not die out just because that one person died? That type of hate gets into your DNA. It's in your psyche. And they have passed it down from generation to generation. And that is why it's so easy for a nurse to go and seek out the babies, black babies in the NICU unit and break their bones or fracture them. That is how it's so easy for young white people to shoot up a black school or walk into a black church and shoot it up. Because they don't see you as anything. They don't see us as anything but property. And it's in their DNA. How dark your soul must be that you will experiment on black children and not give a damn, not even give them pain medicine, because they're nothing but disposable objects anyway. My Lord and my God. Let's move on. Another way that slave children were abused was psychological abuse. Slaveholders instilled a sense of inferiority and fear in enslaved children. They were taught to see themselves as property and to accept the brutal reality of slavery. And listen to this, guys. See, their grandparents or whoever their first generation that was brought over in chains from Africa, that adult knew of freedom. It's one thing when you have been free and then you are enslaved, but to all you know is slavery, all you know is that you are less. That gets also into your DNA and your psyche. So imagine the psychological conundrum that they were in, these children. Not ever hearing anything positive about themselves. I'm telling you, the fact that we black people today are who and where we are is only a testament to the God in us and our resilience. Because I'm telling you, what our ancestors have gone through would have broken any other race of people. I don't care what anyone says. White people could have never endured what we endured. Never. Another area that slave children were abused was the denial of education. Teaching enslaved children to read and write was often illegal. Slaveholders feared that education would empower them to resist slavery. See, that's the key anyway. That's the problem. That's what we see now with MAGA. They are afraid. They know that we are educated. They know that we are, I was getting ready to really go there. They know that if we had their kind of heart and black soul that some of them have, yes, we would come together and enslave them. But that's not who we are. That's not what we want. So that is why they've always tried to keep things away from us, because they knew that if these Africans could start reading and writing and learning, oh my God. Another way that they abused these poor children was through neglect and malnutrition. Enslaved mothers, they were so overworked and underfed. It's not like they could get prenatal care. No, the women would be out there working in the fields and literally give birth while in the field sharecropping. Not all the times, but those women, they didn't, the master didn't say, oh, Betsy is pregnant, let her lay up in the house and for 9 months. No, she had to get out there like everybody else. Enslaved mothers were often overworked and given little time to care for their children. Babies and children were commonly underfed, receiving food scraps or inadequate diets, which led to high infant mortality rates. Come on now, you working out there in that hot sun, slaving from sun up to sundown? You think the women didn't suffer miscarriages after miscarriages? Another form of abuse that the black children endured was physical abuse. Enslaved children were beaten profusely, whipped, and otherwise physically abused to instill fear and obedience. Even babies could suffer abuse if their mothers were punished while holding them. Another way, forced labor from an early age. Even very young children were put to work. Toddlers, even toddlers, were assigned tasks like picking bugs off of the cotton and fetching water. As they grew older, they were subjected to the same grueling labor as their parents. And the last way that I'm going to cover is the separation from their families. And this one gets my heart also, probably because I'm a mother and I know how devastated I would be if you took my child from me. And I'm not talking about this day and time where I could find her ass, would find my kid. I'm talking about when there was no GPS, there was none of that. Hell, there was barely cars. It was no cars. Enslaved children were often sold away from their parents and siblings, causing permanent, not temporary, permanent separation. Slaveholders viewed children as property and frequently sold them to pay debts or maximize profits. And you think that that's still, that is not in our DNA as black people? That fear of loss? That type of trauma stays. It gets in the bone and the marrow and the joints of a person. Black people, we are so amazing. And that is why I do not want us to ever stop growing and learning. Don't let this true history of what's happened to our people cause us to have hate in our heart. Yes, it angers me. It does. It makes me mad. But you know what? It's not going to make me hate, because I refuse to get rid of the God heart that we were born with as black people and allow that hate that those others have to penetrate us. So yes, we must teach our children the truth, like what I'm teaching now, but not so we can hate, because we see what hate can do. And that's not for us. We need to know this stuff so we can continue to do better, but we also want to teach our children from what some of us have come from and what we've come through and why we are strong and we can continue to get through and do better. And that is why I dedicate myself to uploading something every day to educate you all. And in the process, hopefully some white folk are listening too, so they can learn. But y'all, I'm just here to tell you all, black people, we are amazing. I don't give a damn what comes up these next 4 years. We are amazing. And we survived then. We damn sure gonna survive now. Y'all be blessed. Bye.